welcome to the first General Hospital Snark podcast. We are so excited to be with you today. I'm Mama Snark. This is my
Junior.
partner in crime, Snark Jr., and we welcome you to our podcast. Well, here we are. And I have to say that it was about 2 weeks ago, I got this text message from David saying, "Hey, Leanne, I think we need to do a podcast." And I was like, "Is this podcast worthy?" No, I'm an old lady. But hey, you know that already. So most of us are old ladies listening to this. So it's all good. Anyway, David, tell us why you thought a podcast would be a great idea.
She. I don't know. It's one of those, I'm awake in the middle of the night because I have chronic insomnia. So I thought of it. But we had, as some of you may know, we have a patrons group, and we had sort of monthly snark chats, and we would bring on guest stars, and we're gonna put some more on the page for some of the newer folks who've not seen some of these past interviews. So we get people from GH onto a snark chat with our patrons group, and it was great and it was fun, but it was also an hour of that person's time, uh, and a very small audience.
I don't know
So,
about you, but I don't even have an hour to listen to
uh,
somebody yammer on about something. So we're going to make these short and sweet.
so hence the podcast, and hopefully we can reach a wider audience and have some more guests on, and it won't overwhelm them because it'll be 15, 20 minutes. And if they want to ramble, we can split it up into little
We have
bite-sized
capabilities.
chunks. We do have some editing skills. We're that generation that didn't grow up on it, but we're learning.
So David, how in the world did you come to find General Hospital and General Hospital Snark?
Well, General Hospital, believe it or not, I went to an experimental kindergarten. What was experimental? I don't know. It was an all glass school. That was interesting for kindergartners. And it was small classes. I remember that. And we only went to school half a day, which, of course, if you tried to do that today,
Oh,
would not.
I don't know about you, but kindergartners in
Yeah, kindergarten's an
California,
all day
they
thing.
only go half day. They
Oh,
only,
they do.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
So you weren't that experimental.
Oh, well, in New York, I think they have all day, but that's more daycare. But so we would go half a day, 9 to noon, and I lived about 2 blocks from the school, so I'd get home for lunch every day. One day a week, you'd come back like in a smaller group, maybe 5 kids, and then have a whole afternoon of classes. So since that was my schedule, I was home every day for lunch. And growing up as a kid, I remember watching Dark Shadows. That was the big soap. I had all the merchandise, the board game. I buried my childhood hamster in Barnabas's coffin from the Barnabas Collins game. So I was familiar with the concept of a soap opera. But the first soap opera I really got hooked on from the beginning was All My Children, because that came on at 1 o'clock every day. So eventually I added One Life to Live. Eventually I added General Hospital, and I was hooked. Meanwhile, my mom watched all the CBS soaps: As the World Turns, Secret Storm, Love is a Many Splendid Thing, The Edge of Night. So we were a two-channel soap household. But Edge of Night switched to ABC in 1975. So my mom sort of gradually weaned herself off the CBS soaps and started watching the ABC soaps with me. She even used to put the little tape recorder up to the audio box of the TV to tape the shows that I missed while I was in school so I could listen to them while I did my homework. How I came to General Hospital Snark, I don't know. Does anybody know? It just popped up one day and I started commenting. And within a short time, Mama Snark said, "Hey, you want to start writing for the page?"
Hey, you seem to know what you're doing. Would you like to help
And
me?
yeah, and I've been doing it ever since 2015. So 2 years less than 2 years into the page's existence.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out why you said yes, because this has become like a wholly unpaid part-time job.
Well, at that time, I know he's very polarizing, but my favorite soap writer at that time, the modern day, was Ron Carlivati, and I had been off General Hospital for many years, partially because of the mob stuff. It was just like not for me. So I came back February 20th, which is my birthday, 2012, which was the first day that Frank and Ron took over and their stuff aired. And poor me, I've not skipped an episode or a scene since. I take the bullet
You do. I
for the
will, I will say,
General
I think
Snark.
I hold Frank Valentini and Ron Carlivati. They are the ones who inspired General Hospital Snark, because it was March 27th, 2013, and apparently the episode the night before, which I have no idea what it was, but it must have got me all worked up, because the next morning I got up and I said, I've got to get all my feelings about General Hospital out. I'm going to start a Facebook page. It's like thinking, don't go back to those earlier posts. They do not hold up well.
I can
But
vouch
here
for
we
that.
are. So yeah, I'm not like most of us. I was brought to the soap operas through my grandmother, who would tend us as children, and I remember Dark Shadows. I remember thinking this is really cool. And funny enough, the gothic trope is one of my most favorite things in television, in movies, in books. I love the gothicness of things. I will read anything that's got gothic. So, and let's face it, Dark Shadows was uber campy and wonderful, but it was its own genre. And I don't think we could pull something like that off. I mean, today we have Vampire Diaries, which is kind of our equivalent. So there you go. But anyway, we want to do this podcast to chat with you about our feelings about General Hospital. And as we were preparing for this, I was lying in bed thinking about, what would I like to talk about? What have I not talked about on the page that I would like to talk about here? And I asked myself the question, in real life, knowing who I am, not in any kind of fangirl thing, but in any, real person, which of the GH characters would I like to be friends with in real life? And I sat there and I sat there and I realized, I don't do drama. My best friend, who's been my best friend for almost 26 years, is the most placid, normal, non-drama human on the planet. And I think, what would it be like to be like Ava's best friend? Because you'd be getting phone calls like, could you come down to the police station and bail me out? I've been arrested for murder. I'm sorry. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to deal with those phone calls at my
No,
age
and then you have to
in
go
my
down
life.
and really, Ava, are you innocent? You'd
I
have
know.
to
And
cut.
I'd be like, what do you want me to come to the police station? I'm in my pajamas. I am not coming to the police station. That's where I'd be. But then I thought even further, and I thought, no, there are people I would like to hang out with on a regular basis. I would like to be Tracy's friend. I don't know that I want to be Tracy's best friend, because I'd have to have a really thick skin, because, she gets cranky. I think I'd like to hang out with Maxine Spinelli. Those are the people that most resemble my friend group in real life. Boy, that says a lot about me, doesn't it? But I hang out with musicians and artists and stuff, and they're a little quirky, not unlike Spinelli and Maxie. So those are the people I'd hang out with. What about you, David? Who would you hang out with?
That's a good question. I live in New York, so drama faces me every time I walk out my door. That's just a fact of life in New York. So I could deal with somebody like Abe. I know people like Ava, not specifically anybody who's murdered somebody, but it's
Would be a
people of
deal
that
breaker. I'm
people of
sorry.
that temperament that you really want to stay on their good side. That's the number one thing. I think I could handle Tracy because Tracy's snarky, but I could be snarky right back. So Tracy would probably be. I get the Maxi Spinelli thing because yeah, they're the most normal. Most of their problems are work problems, not personal life problems. But I don't know. And Tracy, maybe Chase.
Yeah,
chasing
I thought about that too. I mean, maybe he'd
chasing
want to,
Brooklyn right now seem fairly normal.
maybe
So
they'd come do karaoke with us. That would be
if
fun.
or the hatchet throwing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could think of some people I'd like to, oh, never mind. We're not going to go there.
Yeah, we have the hatchet throwing thing in New York, so it's a real thing.
Their
Although I don't
rage
know.
is real in New York.
The only thing is, I don't think the tables are that quite as close to the actual hatchet throwing, but
That looks so safe.
for dramatic purposes,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got your axe back here, but oh, sorry, Bill.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
mean to hit you in the forehead with my axe.
I mean, I've done that with bowling, so I have hit people in the
Oh my
spine.
gosh.
Not with the ball, but like I've gone too far back because I'm going to take a run. I run up to the line, but yeah. So
So we're recording this on Friday, September 20th. This week in General Hospital, we've had some returns. We got the newly northernified Marty with his non-accent, and we
not
got
so Kentucky.
Cyrus back yesterday, leaving flowers for coma patients. So that's exciting. How do you feel
I
about
guess
these guys?
I guess all of Laura's family's coming back. That exists on
I'm not
occasion.
mad about that. I am not mad about that.
Yeah, but I really could. Let's speed up the Lulu thing. I mean, again, this over concentration, and I
Here, let me
understand
do my
how
Lulu impersonation. Sorry.
no, and I understand it because they're ramping up this story, but it just I never say this often. I think I did say it on the page though today. They ramped it up too fast because all of a sudden it's like when were these people visiting Lulu?
We should have
Supposed
had Lulu conversations 6 months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Or
and
all along, dropping that.
all along. But and Frank got a wild hair in the middle of the night and called up one of the writers and said, "Hey, Elizabeth, you know how we love all the old people? Could you let's bring Lulu back. So start talking about Lulu." And she's like, "Okay, hang on." You
Yeah.
know, a wild hair. Here we
And there
go.
were and there were several opportunities where they could have at least mentioned her in other storylines. The thing I don't like is, and I think I didn't read the article, but the actor who plays Dante, Dominic Zem, I can never say the last name,
Some
Zembrogna,
pregnant or something like
Zembrogna,
that. Mhm.
said something about he felt his character was sort of in a rut or compromised. And it's like, I just don't like this. Oh, what could have been with Lulu? And it's like you're with someone else
It's
who they've spent years building up as a couple, and I actually like them as a couple, but it's like I guess Sam's just being thrown under the bus at this point.
it's really too bad. I mean, again,
Yeah, they
I've
could have a
said,
great triangle.
yeah, it could have been. She's
Yeah.
not my favorite character, only because we haven't really utilized her for the last 5 years, except for occasional runouts to be a PI. But she's become a housewife, which is fine, but it's not terrifically interesting. There's so much potential of how this could be handled, and I think they're just doing it badly for a
Yeah,
change.
they did a good job. Yeah, surprise, surprise. They did a good job when she was first sort of separating out of the Sunny, Jason, Carly
Yeah, and getting to
foursome
with Dante
and
and
getting
stuff.
to the
That yeah,
point. They did a really good job of that. And again, as they became a couple, it was a little surprising, but it's like, oh, all right, this kind of
it worked.
works. Here's the normal couple on the show. And now it's just like, yeah, it's like, whoop, throw Sam under the bus because Lulu's back.
Speaking of things they've done badly, can we talk about Kate's murder and how
Yeah.
that should have been a whodunit? And how on earth can we justify Sonny doing this? I'm sorry, this seeing him shoot him in cold blood twice. Why are we still
Yeah.
justifying this man's actions? David, I don't get it.
Yeah, I see. I liked, again, going back to the Ron Carlivati 3 years, 3.5 years. He wrote Sonny as a villain, which to me is what he should be. And Sonny actually did go to prison during that time. If anybody remembers the storyline, I think all three were in prison, wasn't it? Julian, Ava, and Sonny. And then there was an escape, and then he saved the governor's daughter or something. I mean, they'll come up with something,
Yeah.
some reason he'll get off. But yeah, GH for some reason is afraid of doing murder mystery stories. They had a great opportunity with Peter. They had a great opportunity with Shiloh. And both of those stories just ended sort of like, eh. even with Austin, I mean, they just
Oh,
dropped that.
they were like, this is too hard. We're just not going
They're
to
like,
talk
no, we're
about
not
it
even
anymore.
gonna come up with a solution. And of course, dropping out and oh, I guess Heather's the hook killer. Makes no sense. But yeah, they have a fear of they could have easily turned that into a murder mystery. Just shown Kate's bleeding out and Michael finds him. Have everybody have their excuses. Sonny was with Carly and da 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 da, and keep us guessing. And yeah, if the outcome is still Sonny, great. But give us something. Like knowing everything up front isn't always fun
It isn't.
watching a
No,
show.
because now we have the ick about Alexis because we know that Sonny is throwing her under the bus. We have the ick. It would have been so much better if we didn't know if Alexis had done it, if Christina had done it, if Sonny had done it. It would have been so much better. But as with most General Hospital things, they start stories really strong. And then they wander in the weeds for far too long. And then
But
they realize they're bored and they just wrap it up in some stupid way. And I'm sorry, I write.
or they're written into a corner
Yeah,
and
both
then they
David and I are writers. We know it's hard. Look, dudes, we get it's hard. But if you would start with the end in mind, you might get to where you're going. Just a
That's the
thought.
number one rule when writing a murder mystery.
Just a fun thought.
If there are any Edge of Night fans, watch any of the Edge of Night storylines, and they will keep you guessing. And what's great about watching Edge of Night on YouTube years after these storylines aired, not only do they hold up because they're murder mystery storylines. I mean, they're not going to be dated, but you can see them planting the clues all along the way. And it's like, yeah, you could. I'm bad at solving murder mysteries, and I used to write them too for a living. Can you believe it? But you can see all the clues being laid out, and any reasonable person who's smart could, maybe guess it. But a lot of times you couldn't on Edge.
And
But
then
then they would lay it out.
you throw in red
Yeah, you throw
herrings,
in red
you
herrings.
distract the
Ever Star
audience.
used to throw in like blue herrings as well. He would throw in like misdirects and things like that, and it always worked, and it always made sense. And I don't know why the GH writers just they shy away from that. They Shiloh away from that
It's
because again,
yeah, it's too bad. That was a missed opportunity. And now we have the story that will never ever end.
and we also compromise the other characters because Michael has spent how many years since he sued for custody of Avery? We got to protect this family. We got to be safe. We can't be around this. And now he's the first one there covering it up.
It's really bizarre. What can
This
I
is why I
say?
do not like Grumpy Cat.
Yeah, I know. Both David and I kind of struggle with Michael a little bit,
Yeah.
not gonna lie. And
And just
it's
he's
not
never
Dooley's fault. It's not Dooley's fault.
he's just never been well written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we promised them short and sweet. Let's give it to them. What we want to say though is we will chat about anything. Give us ideas. Tell us what you'd like us to chunter on about. Leave us comments here. If you're on
Also,
YouTube,
guest stars.
yeah, and stars. Yeah, you can boop, 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 boop,
We're
and
gonna ask.
reward us for our genius because anyway. The other thing is this is going out to all podcast platforms, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, blah, 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 all of the above. Share, like, subscribe. Isn't that what you're supposed to say? I don't know. I don't say that on the Facebook page, so I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. We're going to try to do this several times a month because we like to talk about this stuff.
And there's never enough time in those posts.
No, not at all. Anyway, thank you for watching and following us and being a part of our nonsense. Talk to you soon. Bye.